You guys listening? You ready when you are? There we go. Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of the TIPS committee. Let's call this meeting to order at this time. Councilwoman Washington, would you be so kind as to do a roll call?
Kelly Ledbetter,
Present.
Tara Graves,
Here.
Tammy Grimes, Terry Fry, Mayor Justin Cobble, Gia Scruggs,
Here.
Alicia Washington, here. George Turner.
Here. Thank you very much. I believe we have a quorum and we will proceed with the meeting as outlined. We did hear from from Mayor Cobble and from Councilman Terry Fox, saying that they would not be able to make it due to the conflict of work schedule. At this time, we are open for public comment. Any public comment? There are none, we will move right along. One thing we really wanted to do was to kind of get a feel for this agenda. And I put it out well in advance of knowing whether or not we would have certain reports in place. And we don't have a lot of those reports in place. So we will just touch on these items and revisit them at a later date. One thing is Harry will be intimately involved in a lot of this in terms of getting the information for us. And I did not work with him on it, but I did know that we had talked. And some of these reports are not near ready as of yet, but in making the agenda, we had to estimate what we would have in place, and we were a little bit ahead of ourselves. But anyway, we'll go ahead and talk about some things that we need to get on the agenda and things that we might want to include in the next TIPS committee meeting. The first one is Panola Shoals embankment. We've been trying to get Panola Shoals stabilized for quite some time. And I joked and said that if we didn't get it stabilized, Panola Shoals going down the South River. They kind of went down the South River, a lot of it did. But that was a great deposit of sand as a result of the flood. So now what the plans are to fix that, that has not been totally determined as of yet. Whether it helped our case or hurt our case. We're waiting for the experts to give us an analysis that we can count on. But right now, they said it was just too early to give us an assessment. So the next flood coming in, are we expecting flood from the next storm?
No, sir. But I do want to add to that. The team did have, our engineering team did have a pre-kickoff meeting with the construction contractor as well as the design team, and are looking at what has occurred to be able to make some recommendations in terms of where we are now to assess the original design versus any modifications that may need to be made. And then the construction contractor is scheduled after they get some clearance from EPD, get on the ground at the end of the month.
Okay, good. I wanted to share this with you, for those of you who did not see the river. And I'm having some challenges doing the share. I want to share the volume and all of that. And you can hear Mother Nature. So yeah, that was a challenge. One more time. Maybe not.
If I can cut that off.
I wanted to share with
Turn your microphone on.
Oh, that's it. How are we now? Tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna shut all that off. And I'll show it to you privately. Unless the technicians come back and we'll let them give it another try. All right?
Okay.
But to just give you a feel, and these are some things we're working with Harry on. The flood actually impacted Panola Road to the point that it had to be shut down. And when it was shut down, I did walk through it, and the city manager and the mayor walked through it as well. Now, you don't roll through it. I walked through it. I'm kidding. And one thing I noticed is that the water was bubbling up through the concrete, which raises the question that I've had all along. And these are some things we need answers on as well. Harry is ready to do a full reclamation of Panola Road. But before they do that full reclamation, the question is, in my mind, I'm not an engineer, is will they need to put something under Panola Road? Because a lot of that water came across Panola Road and not out of the South River. It came from the north side of Panola. And it had some impact on the flooding as well. So if you're gonna reclaim the pavement in there, do you need to put some type of a sewage, what do you call it, hose under there to let the water from the north side come under Panola Road versus coming over it? Because as long as it keeps getting wet, it's gonna be compromised when the heavy trucks and buses and stuff go across it. But those are some things that we need to talk about from engineering. Because he said in the next week or two, they were scheduled to start work on Panola Road from Browns Mill all the way to 155. And they're still on schedule. I think by the end of the month, you may well see Panola Road being fully repaved and not just patched. Because you get a lot of complaints. And if you've ridden it, you probably one of the complaint of as to what's happening or not happening on Panola Road. So I just wanted to add that to it when you see where the water was coming across it. Like I said, the river brought it up to the point that they brought it out to it, but there was water coming across it from the other side. And if it could go under it, in my non-engineering mind, that would make for a better solution to what's happening with fixing Panola Road. Just my 2 cents.
How long was Panola Road shut down?
How long? I think about
Day or two?
about a day. I think it will be the next morning. Yeah, I went out that morning of the flood, and DeKalb County going for sewage and drainage was there. They said they were going to ask DeKalb to shut it down, but between DeKalb and the city, they shut it down probably about 11 o'clock that morning, and it was closed overnight because they thought it was going to surge some more overnight, and I think they opened it the next morning.
Yeah.
So about 18 hours. Now, the question is, like I said up front, what is that going to do to our efforts to stabilize that embankment so that it doesn't, well, something got to be done. There's some private homes very close to the back of that, and they're losing property big time because of the erosion. And they want to know, what are we going to do about the erosion? Is that something that the Corps of Engineers would have any input on? Okay. All right, and they would be a part of this discussion,
Yeah,
updated discussion.
yes, I mean, if the design substantially changes, obviously they would have to be engaged again to, take a look at what's being proposed.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and go through these, because, like I said, this is really gonna require a lot of input from Harry, and we're not ready. The same thing is with, Everett Park embankment assessment. I rolled in there, last week, and we didn't have a parking lot to worry about. And at Everett, but, you know, the plans were to get one there. And I think this will cause us to rethink where it needs to be and how we need to treat it.
The, I guess the day after, may have been that Monday, again, reached out to the design team, sent pictures, videos, and have them working on, an assessment to see, does that change what we decided to do? Or, I know that, two things, at Panola is designed to be a permeable wall that allows some drainage. I don't know if it would, the significant rain event, I don't know if it would have withstood that anyway. And the same thing at the Everett Park where the takeout is, just making sure I know that that was supposed to be the same type of surface. And then obviously with the, kayak takeout, that would be a concern because as you saw, the exact location was underwater. So, but I turned all the information that we had over to the design team.
Okay. So after seeing it firsthand, at least we saw it firsthand, if there's a proposal to change some things, we'll understand why. Because we don't want to put it down and see it go home down the river, literally.
There was a lot of large tree debris that, was just coming plowing down the river. So I can only imagine what it looks like further down. Yeah.
Okay. We put another item on the agenda, and Councilman Fossey, he worked with me on this, and I'm gonna get back to him. And we need to handle it ourselves as a council, and that is that then Commissioner Lorraine Cochran Johnson proposed to put cameras at convenience stores and to make it mandatory that they be placed there.
I thought they made it mandatory.
Well, that was the proposal. There might have been some complications with making that happen. So we still want to see it happen. But if the DeKalb County is wrestling with it, and they will let them do the wrestling, and we just piggyback once they finish what they're doing. Because we want to see it happen in Stonecrest. Yeah. And
She talked about that at our town hall meeting.
but again, someone's got to take the lead on it and follow up. And if it's just a matter of piggybacking, and piggyback we will. We can help them to push certain legislation through and make it happen, then we need to get on board. So those are things that we wanted to keep on our agenda. I'm not sure if that's a tips initiative, but it's one for the city, and we need to make it happen, whether it's a tip or not. It's one for Democrats.
Safety, public safety.
Yeah.
measures.
And Kelly, before I move any further, we were talking about the impact of the storm on our couple of parks. How about any other parks you know of that may have been impacted by the storm?
I don't think we had much of an impact in Browse, just a few limbs that we removed internally. But I'm not aware of any other impact.
All right, I know a lot of trees were down across the roads in some places. I'm not sure about in the park
Yeah.
themselves, but it was eventful.
It was.
Yeah.
What about parents?
Mayor Pro Tem, I just want to know if I should ask this question at this meeting about Barrington Park. Is it appropriate?
Go ahead.
Sure. Okay,
Go
I
ahead.
wanted to ask you about fencing. When is that going to be? What are your plans for the fencing?
It's gonna happen soon. I noticed that there's pretty significant damage about 3 weeks ago. One of the sections of the parking lot.
Actually, two big sections.
Yeah.
And people are going and driving on on the grass, thinking it's an opening that they can feel free to go and try in there, so
Okay.
that needs to be put in. Today, they sprayed gang,
Oh, is
a
that
gang
right?
sign on our sign, the other Tupac sign, they did it on both sides. So I took a picture of it, so I'll send it.
Okay.
I took a picture of it.
You said today?
I saw it today because I was out there today.
And, also in discussing Farrington and the fencing, we're also looking at, very soon, taking down portions of the fencing and installing new
It's
fencing.
on both
Um,
sides.
we're going to, obviously, we'll get that taken care of, but then also, once we get everything complete in Farrington, installing the new signs, monuments actually.
Yeah.
But we also are looking at that and the paving, the parking lot in that area, to try to see if we can go ahead and get the parking lot done, the fencing, and then there's a large tree that is right,
The biggest tree that sits right there. It's a
um,
historical tree. We thinking about knocking it down?
no, we're not thinking about we're not thinking about necessarily knocking it down, but we're thinking about, having an opportunity to plant some other trees,
Okay.
some tree replacement, and a potential good chance to put our, our city tree.
Oh,
Right.
right. Was more tree.
Mhm.
Yeah, they
But we are certainly
they're
looking
replaced.
looking at Farrington Park as a whole to get several more things done this calendar year.
Before this year is out.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you saying that we're waiting on the sign, the sign that we had ordered the wayfinding sign for Farrington Park.
Mhm.
So how long is that gonna be? This is definitely an eyesore.
Oh, absolutely.
It's, and I'm wondering how long are we gonna wait that we have to continue to look at this eyesore?
Well, I think you said that just happened, right? Yeah, so
You mean the
Rick, I'm
sign
trying
I'm
itself
just
is
saying,
an eyesore?
the, yeah, what they did
Oh, yeah.
to
Oh, you're
the
talking about they
Farrington
did.
Park
Yeah.
sign is the eyesore.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering, how long is it gonna be before we get the new wayfinder?
Wayfinder sign. Well, that may take just a little bit longer because I think they're just now getting to the point where they obviously have designed those, but we have to get somebody to actually build the design. And we haven't gotten to that point yet. So
Is
it may
there
take
something else we can do
Yes.
until
Temporary.
then?
Oh, yeah.
Address that.
Okay,
Yeah, he's
thank
gonna
you.
address that. Yeah, he's
Okay,
gonna address
okay.
that.
That's all.
Yeah.
We'll wait for the
Mhm.
wayfinder sign.
No, even before that, he'll address the graffiti.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
he'll,
Get that cleaned off, you got experts that clean that off, do the contract.
Mr. Ledbetter,
Oh,
he'll
okay.
take care of it.
Okay, case closed.
One way or the other.
All right.
He'll take care of it.
Okay.
Anything else on parent?
On those.
Yeah. But that's something we are going to have to address. Our way to the botanical garden.
I'm already in conversations with, various, people to make that effort. I've also, I know District 3 is gonna be instrumental in working with, Councilman Washington to, help me to see what we can do in that area. But I've already started, already have a plan on how we're going to, address that.
Okay. And I've gotten calls from people all over the city. Well, 4 or 5, but enough to say that we need to identify or to deal with the gang criminal element that live in those apartments
So.
right there on Farrington Parkway.
Yes, sir. That's the first conversation that I did have, with, the CAB PD. And, so we can have a coordinated effort in terms of what needs to happen, before we start the construction, obviously. But then also just that whole Farrington Road corridor area, including a, outreach to the businesses in that area, having discussions with them so that they understand what the city is trying to do in the next couple of years. Not only with the Botanical Garden, but also, the World Cup is coming and we want our city to be prepared for that. And as that being one of the large, intersections where people get off, we just want to make sure that everybody understands the significance and the impact that that corridor has. And so we are going to, from a public safety standpoint, from an economic development standpoint, look at all of those and have a unified strategy so that in the next 2 years, when we get ready to open up the Botanical Garden, that entire area will change.
Yeah, I know we need to have this for the public safety meeting, but, and public safety is a concern all over the city. But that particular area has been identified as a hotbed. And, if it's been identified and we stick our heads in the sand, more folks, we need to deal with the problem.
Our heads are not in the sand.
Yeah,
I
no,
just
I'm just
recently
saying.
had a meeting.
I know, I'm just saying
I
that
just
because-
recently had a meeting on that. And it is very important and more, and to the point where I can't wait on a public safety director. I can't wait on somebody else to do it. I have personally taken that on because I see the crime statistics.
Yeah.
And then we got to look at some strategies. And when I say we, not just the city of Stonecrest, for the time being, the DeKalb County Police Department to come up with a plan on how are we going to address that. And I've also spoken with them. We're going to have some joint meetings with subsets of business owners to see what we can do. So we are actively working on that. Because that is one of the things, when we're gonna have, if Farrington Park is gonna be there and we want, our kids, our young people and our seniors to go out and enjoy it, but we want them to be safe that's the first thing. I want them to be safe going out there playing ball.
They want to feel safe, not safe
Mhm.
anywhere, but you gotta.
You wanna feel
This is
safe.
Yeah.
We had a lot of shootouts and
Mhm.
stuff at Farrington Ridge. It was really, really hot and really bad. And police presence is very important out there. And when we I think we did jail work together with, when I was reporting what was going on in Farrington Park because of all the constituents out there. They were leaving, they were moving, and kids couldn't even come out and play or anything. Then the police stepped up, the DeKalb police stepped up. They came out there, they sat in the parking lot. They just positioned themselves in the parking lot of Farrington Ridge. And I guess they planned it for maybe a couple of weeks, every day, all day long, they were there. And I have to say, they deterred whatever that traffic, the gang traffic, they deterred all of that for that area. Now, I'm saying that the crime has went down as far as that. And I think police presence is very key for that area, because you're dealing with a lot of people that don't have jobs. And then you're dealing with people who've gotten out of jail who were recent felons and they can't get jobs. Because I've talked to them, I can't get a job. I was a felon. When I talk to them about voting, registering and stuff, those are the things that they say. So you have an area where you have people who can't get a job, so they're there idle-minded. Then you have kids, and that's why I made a lot of emphasis on trying to get the park with some activities, because you have kids that is out there. We've had 4 shootings from 4 kids, 13-year-old, 12-year-old, 14-year-old. They have shot each other or had a gun or something. And that's because you have an idle mind. And having an idle mind brings about that type of activity. So we can work on it and try to get it down. But I think number one is police presence.
Top of the list.
Top of the list.
Top of the list.
It's just something about having the police out there that it does help it. But then we have to still help with the other areas too.
All right, point well taken. Capital improvement summary for FY 25. I put that on here because, just in case there were some things that we thought about since the last time we talked about it, that you wanted to add in terms of, capital improvement, particularly in light of what happened with the storm. Something you thought about, considered, and needs to be, added to what we talked about so far.
I just asked again for sidewalk locations. And I think the other one.
It's a
Sidewalk.
Sidewalk. Mhm,
Yeah.
sidewalk.
I did talk to Mr. Harry about a sidewalk. I'm not sure if he added it to the list, but right here on Mall Parkway, right from the condos, like walking up towards Walmart, there's a lot of traffic walking up and down that. street, but the sidewalks are broken. So I think even when he looked at the camera, he could see the traffic of people coming down, walking either to that MARTA station or trying to walk to that Walmart. Like coming up towards from Conyers.
Yeah. I
And
see a
then
lot
you
of
have,
foot
it's a
traffic there.
lot of traffic up and down that road, and the sidewalks are, we do have a sidewalk right there by the Dodge dealership. And then I think in front of the Granite, in front of that company is no sidewalk there. So it's a lot of missing pieces on,
Yeah, a lot of those things were there before the Cap County passed the ordinance that said that you had to put sidewalks in front of your new business.
right?
Now, if something was already there, or it hadn't been developed yet, there's no sidewalks, and you're right, you gotta
Right.
connect the link.
We have to connect the links. And I want to say every morning, because I go that way in the morning most of the time, it's a lot of people walking up towards the water station.
Give them a ride.
Also, I ask them sometimes. So I'm not sure if that one's on the list. I didn't see it on there previously, but I did talk to Harry about adding that to it.
Are the signs, included in the capital improvement? We were talking about the semis coming up the street and directing
Oh, yeah,
them.
that's
Those-
just regular,
Okay.
I'm gonna say traffic sign.
Okay.
But speaking of sidewalks, I know, and again, I'm sure you've already put most of it in, is that Barrington Park where it goes out to, Barrington Road. Where they had that little parkway in the middle. Was really, really beautiful when they first designed it, but it has overgrown now. And there was no sidewalks in there, so you got all these footpaths going through there.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they can cut through.
Well, it's just a matter, they take the shortest point to get to Walmart. They're coming from the apartment, but they throwing a hole through the doggone fence. And they walk through there, and they cut across the median and on to Walmart we go, and that's your footpath. So now, do you put a sidewalk there, or do you run the sidewalk on the side of the road and go straight across? So it needs to be looked at, and I haven't seen the list that included that, but I was just in there a few days ago, and I noticed how many footpaths you have coming from.
There's hardly any sidewalks up and down there to West Barrington. Hardly
Yeah.
none. I don't believe it's
I want to
any.
say, it's on the list though. I wanna say
There's
that one's on
none,
the list.
zero.
So will you ride it again? I'll ride it again and
Yeah.
make note, or I can just get a map and just draw it on the map, and we'll see if it's included. Because if it's not included, we need to make sure it gets included. Let me do that. I'll get the map.
That water. The water, we could talk about that,
Mhm.
right?
Did they do anything about that?
Don't know.
The
if
flooding.
done anything.
We didn't have that problem this time. Did you hear about any flooding over there with the rains that we've had?
I did.
Do you know the place that we have the flooding where the water and they have to shut that whole street down and then
No.
come around? You don't know anything about that?
No,
Okay, it didn't happen this time.
Hmm.
So I don't know if they.
There's just so
fixed
much
it.
other stuff was happening, they might not
Oh,
have
man,
paid attention to
but
that.
I wouldn't have
But you
I
would've
wouldn't have
been
missed it.
Yeah,
though.
somebody would.
Yeah, somebody I would have saw it or something out of the times I'd be back there. So maybe they fixed it. I hope so. I'm glad you
We'll
reminded
keep
me
an eye
to.
on that.
Yeah. It floods completely where they have to shut that whole street down because cars get stranded trying to go through because the flooding is so high over there. And when it rains, just a normal rain, and come out, no, just a rain period. It's right across from, down the next subdivision past the Quarry Apartments, right across from, what's the name of that? But anyway, it's the next apartment, housing, actually they're townhouses, right, the next one after the court, on that same side.
Yeah, I'm
Right,
trying to
right
go
in
down
front
there,
of
you
that
got traffic
apartment
coming.
community, that whole street. be flooded.
okay.
So I don't know.
Stormwater project.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
but they were supposed
We've
to,
been in
they
contact with
they were supposed to be checking on that and talking to Department of Water, right?
Streets and
The
drainage.
streets and drainage, yeah, they're supposed to sign that.
It's just an opportunity to pick up on some things we might have forgotten. So I know when it
Yeah.
comes down to approving the budget, we will be saying, wait a minute. So if we forgot something, so we can review it and review it and review it before budget time. Maybe when we get down to approving it, we will have no reason to delay. Because I know I didn't follow up with some things I said I was gonna follow up on, I just forgot. So I need to
I know that
be
was a
reminded.
project
I need to
area.
make note. And they say it says a short pencil is better than a long memory. Right, exactly.
I didn't hear about that.
Now, 1, 2, 3, 4 members. We all help each other remember.
Yeah, I take the short pencil.
That's okay.
So anything else for capital improvement, other than sidewalks?
I just want to ask, now that we're out of the, almost in summer going into fall, the shades, when will that happen? This will be our second year.
Shade structure?
Mhm.
The
Going
shades
up.
over the playground.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, we supposed to have a contract, some contractor was supposed to put it up. We had it, we just didn't have a contractor to put it up. When
I
will
thought we
that
approved
happen?
that contract.
We
We
approved
did, we did. I'm asking,
Do
when
you,
is it
you have
gonna be
update?
done?
I do have.
South, well,
Yeah.
Southeast has some going up over the bleachers and the ball fields.
The
But-
playground, we had a shade specifically for the playground,
Which playground?
Bennington Park.
Yeah. Yes, that should be coming. They have started. They had some delays for various reasons. But the contractor is installing currently. They're finishing up the Southeast right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we had the same contractor. from
Mhm.
Southeast was on the Bennington.
Mhm.
Okay, I have an understanding of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the
And then
same
when we get the
contractor?
new,
Same contract.
equipment, we are getting them to do the install on the shade structure. All at one time.
Okay,
So the supplier will be the installer. Good.
That's how it should be anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
so they can have a warranty. What about our pole flag?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, because I forgot.
What's going on with that?
So, we had turned it over to finance to get some additional larger banners, and we're working with them to get I think it's 2 foot by 4 foot. It's a much larger version of it. And we will take the ones that are currently up and repurpose those in other areas at our park facilities and potentially here at City Hall.
The ones that's still up, it's a couple of them that actually,
Are down?
are down.
Mhm. We did, yeah, we did.
Yeah,
Are
they
we-
did.
Are we gonna do them
Enjoy the power.
seasonally, just one?
We also have our facilities team looking at installing some festive lights. I'm not sure where we are in that process because it's also joint project with Georgia Power. But trying to make sure we can get that done. I know that they had started that, but I'm not sure where they are in the process of that. And then I think there are some seasonal signs as well, banners that will go up. I have not put my eyes on it, but I believe that we did have some. But what I'm not sure about is the size. And so, as we are going to buy additional banners so that it goes in the additional places that we had intended for them to. This initial one, it pretty much depleted the funds that we had for that project. So we're gonna do more.
So that's included in our FY 25 budget.
No, we're gonna try to
No,
get a
that's
lot of that in FY 24
FY24.
because we're
Okay.
gonna use the funding that we have available, funding sources that we currently have to get a lot of that stuff procured.
Now, I didn't know whether we had phase 1, 24, phase 2, 25. when you
Well, we did,
expanded
but-
and cover more of the
Yeah,
city.
we're gonna get a large portion of those in 24. And then it will be, in the outlying years, we may get some additional ones, once we identify some additional locations. I mean, obviously, because as we, open up more parks and do more things, we'll want large banners like that as well. So we're gonna, get as many as we can in the brackets. And so we're in a position to be able to, not only place them where we want them, but also have them in the event that they get damaged or stolen.
Okay. I'm saying Panola Road is
That's one.
being ignored, and you got Turner Hill.
It's not. Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
It's not being ignored. It's just, that was the initial. Now we see what we received.
That's what I'm
and
saying,
we're
so we
going
need
to-
more funds to expand it. Okay.
Right. I think the discussion was to start in District 1, then you move to District 2, District 3. We doing it in some type of order.
It's a shortcut for me. Right.
But Mr. Ledbetter and his team working on this. Great job.
Okay, good. Good. Let's just keep it, and see, my thing is that we talk about stuff, then we forget about it. You know, what happened to it? Well, we just forgot about it. So until it's done, we need to continue to talk about it.
We didn't put it down. I just want to know, we didn't put it down. It's just, this is the update that I have on it.
Yeah.
And then obviously as we get, we're trying to get some more teammates here so that they can help. Help.
Okay, perfect. All right. Moving right along. The other item I put on here, we're not ready to follow up that until I talk to Harry again. We had a discussion about 2 meetings ago about the bike pedestrian trail coming through the northern part of the city, through the Rock Chapel area. And there was some discussion about the route it was taken. And there was going to be some follow-up meetings and discussions about that. I just wanted to do a follow-up to see what we came up with that. So let's just hold that off till I get a chance to talk to Harris more and see where we can go. Was there any discussion about adjustment or leave it as is or what? So what is,
Okay, at this point, those are recommendations from the consulting firm.
Yeah.
Mr. Knight did mention that he wanted to speak with me. I made myself available. I think he wanted to get some additional information before we had that meeting, and I have not had another conversation. But in terms of what was presented, that's also why anything that we do, sidewalks or otherwise, comes before council for you all to make that decision. The consultant gave recommendations.
So
I just
do-
want, since that was the conversation, I just want to follow up on it. Did we close the conversation? It's still open?
I would say it's still open.
It's still open? Okay, then fine, we can leave it as it is. Yes, ma'am.
So do we have a bike path? Because I've seen like 50 bike people, do we have a bike path that they actually can go down? I've seen them in Stonecrest riding through
I've
Mall
seen it everywhere.
Parkway. I don't know the specific trail that they take, but I was wondering if we do have one and that's the trail that they're taking.
We don't currently have a dedicated bike lane, like like you may see in some cities. So we don't have those.
So they do come through here? 'Cause I've
They're on the
seen them.
street.
Yeah,
Yes,
on
ma'am.
the street. So I would think that we need to cater to them because they're coming through our city. We
Mhm.
need to cater to that because it's a lot of, so.
That's,
a lot of
this plan addresses that.
them. Okay.
The beauty of what we do here is that it's all recorded. If you're so inclined to go back and listen to the presentation on the bike pedestrian report,
Mhm.
it identifies what's currently in place
Okay, we have something in
and
place.
what's being proposed for connection over the next several periods of time. And like so many of these projects, you're talking 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road because they are they're planned that have to be funded and built, and it won't happen overnight. So the question is, like you said, what's in place now? You got the one that was built, the Path Foundation built one to Arabia Mountain that
Mhm.
goes all the way down to Canyon and beyond. And I think it also, well, just a regular walking path, it goes into Henry County as well. Then there's one that comes out of Atlanta going up to Stone Mountain. And I think part of that effort is to connect that one with this one here in Stonecrest. In order to do that, you can come down, the Stone Mountain, Lithonia Road area. And that puts you on a lot of side streets. Well, you can come straight down Stone Mountain, Lithonia Road. So that part of it has not been built yet. And that's a lot of what this discussion is about. Which path do you take to get there and why? And then we gotta find money to do it. But you have to have a plan.
Yes.
You got a plan in place. If grants or funding become available, you can apply for it and you stand a good chance of getting it. But if you have no plan, give you any money, you got no plan.
Yeah.
So it's good to have it in place. And it would be good that if we could all agree to it. And it'll be a feather in our cap in terms of qualifying for the grant. But I'm just speaking off the top of my head. But if you want to see it in detail, you can go back, play it back in the middle of the night and make your notes. And I think Harry was quite detailed in it, but he went fast. And if that's your first time hearing it, it's a lot to digest. So,
It's also available online, and I know that just like we did the maps for paving, and you can look at each year how much we've done in paving. If it's not already out there, I know that Harry is working on getting that prepared as well, and it gives you a good visual to see where the gaps are, and then how much progress we make as we do this. But I know that's one of the things he's working on, if it's not already out there.
let me change gears way out of left here. The website, in terms of being able to easily access stuff. I had a constituent wonder why I won't pay the street. That's what that's a process. Okay, and there's a list. Well, how do I get on the list? That's where you're already on. You just got to go look at the list. I told him how to go get to the list. He couldn't get to it. But when I tried to get to it to show him, I couldn't get to it.
Okay.
So I had to call Harry, and Harry told me how to get to it. So making it easy to access is very important. And I know books is like rocket science, easy once you understand.
Right.
Same thing here. Once you understand it, but until you understand it, it's difficult. Right? And I know we're updating the website, and I'm hoping that will make it easier for us to get to certain things. But I eventually got to it. I got the whole list with the ratings. I said, now, here's where your street rate you're gonna get to. And luckily, looks like it's gonna be in next year because he's just beyond this year's list. So if everything goes well, their street should be paid in 25. So and that was information we needed, but it has to be readily accessible, and we need a tutorial to understand how to access the website for all of that information that's out there.
So great segue on two things. We are redesigning the website. We are almost done with that, but one of the things we want to do is do a pilot to look at just exactly what you just
Now, I
said.
get it big.
And it actually came from our Citizens Academy. And so we're looking at a small group of people to take a look and help us make sure that it is user friendly. And so we're gonna delay that, the go live of that to make sure that we can do that. But you certainly are welcome to be a part of that if you'd like.
Thank you very much.
You know, when I was in school a long time ago, they said if it's over 3 or 4 clicks, then it's hard to get to. So I don't know if millennials feel the same way, but 3 or 4 clicks, and I'm kind of wondering where to go to. So, but we certainly want to look at that. The other thing you mentioned is plans, and I have said this for 2 or 3 years now. Stay with me because we got a lot of plans that we got to get through. We got a lot of design to get through. But now that we have done that, we have I have gotten a software to assist us in managing all the plans, so you can see them all together. But it's also going to overlay them all together. So if you're looking at the transportation plan, or you're looking at our capital improvement plan, you'll know where in the other plan it ties to, and also the progress of those. So that's one of the things that we are getting ready to kick off. I think we have a meeting with the team one day next week. So hopefully by the beginning of the year, we'll have that up and available, and that should make a lot of these things a lot easier to judge where we are in terms of, performance.
Good, and we will mention this again. Don't think I have amnesia when I bring it up again.
No, I'm gonna mention it on Monday. I just wanna make sure anybody that's listening today, all of the plans that we have, you'll be able to see those and check the progress of, including our capital project plan, which includes the list of parks projects and the infrastructure projects that we just mentioned.
And if there's a project that some of us want to promote or move up, then we need to identify funding and make sure that we are budgeted for it. Because we can't just make it happen. Gotta have some cash. Okay, so we'll come back to the bike pedestrian plan, but again, that's why I got to that part about it's out there. Let's just go take another look. It's on the system. If we can find it easily. Okay. That exhausts the list. Now, did I rush through something you guys wanted more on or want to talk about some more?
No, we're like we need Mr. Harry to have a full discussion.
We'll make that happen in November, because we're not sure about December, whether or not we're going to meet. Yeah, there's so many activities going on in December. It's a chore to get these committees together.
Trust me.
Mayor Pro
Yes, ma'am.
Tem, at the next meeting, I also wanna bring, our new capital projects manager to the meeting, Mr. Patrick Walker. He started on Monday, and he will likely start coming to these meetings as well.
Excellent, excellent.
What's his title?
Patrick, his title, capital projects manager.
And he could help us with determining what we should be budgeting for. Yeah, I don't know.
And he's also, just happens to also be, another professional.
Good.
Patrick Walker.
Not bad.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, no, for Patrick.
Okay, did I miss anything else?
I got a quick question. I know
Yes,
you
ma'am.
brought up the website. What about the mobile app we talked about?
Same thing. If we want to launch those together.
We'll launch it
We
together.
would like to.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try one more time and just, share this video.
Turn your volume on.
Uh-oh, I don't have a meeting ID, so I can't join.
You presented, right?
Yeah, but I didn't do it by way of Zoom. Let me see.
I don't know if it was the city website or on Instagram.
You want to, the meeting is still,
I know. I'm gonna try to make it work, but I can't, so I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Barbara Newlands and seconded by the chair to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
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 Right.
Meeting is adjourned.